Hey guys, it's Hurricane Joe. How you doing? It's been a while, but I'm trying to come back. What I want to do this time is get into something I think is pretty important. A lot of people ask me, why do you into Steve Clark so much? Obviously, but I think the most important part to appreciate him, to really get what he was doing, was the fact that you have to remember Steve Clark was a classically trained musician, which means that he read and wrote music, he understood the rules of music, and he actually abided by them all the time. So a lot of people, it's easier to learn his solos. I'm not talking from a technical aspect to master, but it's easy to learn it because if you know the certain rules, Steve's going to play within those rules. And some of the guitar players will play notes that are not in key. They'll make it sound right. I'm not saying they necessarily sound bad. Some of them, they do sound bad. But they'll make it sound right because they believe those notes fit. But Steve, I remember seeing in an interview, he would actually look at Phil sometimes and say, look, it's musically incorrect to play that note. You shouldn't play that note. But Phil has a way of making it sound right, which is cool. And that's one of the things I appreciate about him. So to really get the genius of what he was doing, you have to learn a little bit about theory. Now, I want everyone to calm down. A lot of times, that's a frightening thing. It's an intimidating thing for a lot of guitar players, especially coming up. Don't do it. It's not necessary, because we're not going to talk on a collegiate level here. We're going to talk on basically a beginner to intermediate level, and I'm going to give you the tools that as much time as you put into it, you will be able to be a professional musician, meaning people will play to see you play, and you'll be able to be creatively express yourself. See, the beauty of the guitar, when you look at the guitar, I never forgot, I spoke to a jazz player one time, and I told him, I said, man, I was in the beginning, and I really couldn't play the stuff that I could hear in my head. And I say, my problem is I look and I know what key a song's in, but I can only play in these certain boxes. How do you do it? And he goes, I know what key a song's in, but when I look at guitar, I see sounds. I don't see boxes. And I was like, wow, that was so deep to me. How do you do that? Well, the way you do it basically is once you learn the different modes, it helps you to connect the whole guitar together. And the beauty about that is it helps you to express yourself. People love Steve for his emotion on the guitar. You can't get the emotion out if you don't know where to go. So I'm going to try to do a 4-part series talking about music theory and integrating that to how that was unique to Steve Clark's writing style, his lead style, and how he went on guitar. But I still remember that one day I was sitting home, and it was important to me. I was like, how do I got to do this? And I heard a voice that said in a British accent,
Joe.
Yeah. Is that you, Steve?
Joe, this is Steve, man.
Oh, wow.
You got to learn all the notes on the guitar.
I do?
Yeah, man. From that, it'll help you learn scales and music theory. And after that, you can truly learn and appreciate what it is I was trying to say with my music.
Wow. Now, after I heard Steve say that, in my mind's eye, I know you think I'm crazy, I said, well, it's got to be done. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I don't have like a special, audio for graphics and stuff like that, so we're going to have to do this on a low budget way. But I want you to get 10 pieces of paper, and you can pause and stop this video at any time to do it. And we're going to have like a little music notebook that you can go back and refer to. I want one paper for you to write down certain rules that I'm going to tell you. Then the other 9 pieces of paper, if you would, I want you to make like your own guitar. And what you do is I want you to have 6 strings looking just like this guitar, 6 strings going horizontally, and then I want you to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 12 vertical bars going across the guitar. Okay, it doesn't have to be, you can make them the same width if you want. Because the cool part about guitar is if you think about it, music is just like language. You know what I'm saying? If you can speak the English language, there's 28 letters in the alphabet. Cool thing about music, there's only 12 letters in it. So you're halfway there. Music is half as easy to understand English. See? We already made progress right there. Now you have 6 strings going across, and the cool part, we're talking about standard E tuning, open E tuning. 2 of these strings are the same. So we get a third of it done on one run. Okay, you guys ready? So once you guys make your charts at your own time, you're going through a time warp, we're going to get started. Okay, the 6 strings go like this. You start from the top, the bass one down. This is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for future reference. The lowest one is the E string. The fifth one is the A string. The fourth one is the D string. The third one is the G string. The second one is the B string. And the first one again is the E string. And it's just like the letters of the alphabet. Now the first rule I want you to write down on your rule sheet is there's no sharps between E and F and no sharps between B and C. Just remember that. And sharp basically, sharps or flats is a space between the letters of the alphabet. I want you to think of the main letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G as the vowels of music. Those you have to be able to remember on sight. The other ones you can know where to find them, but the other ones, the A through F, G, you have to know on sight. So let's go. The first note on the 6, open, that's an E. In the first fret, that's an F. Then you have an F sharp. Then you have a G. I'm on the 3rd fret. On the 4th fret, G sharp. And the 5th fret is A. 6th fret is A sharp. 7th fret is B. 8th fret is C. 9th fret is C sharp. Then 10th fret is D. 11th fret is D sharp. And 12th fret is E. Now there you go. Write those notes down. That's for the 6th string. And that's also the same for the 1st string. So now we got 2 strings out of the way. Okay? You notice how it just follows the letters of the alphabet? So on the 5th string, open A. Then you have A sharp. Then you have B. Then you have C. I'm in the 4th fret now. I have a C sharp. Then I have D. Then I have D sharp. Then I have E. Then I have F. And F, we're on the 8th fret. Then I have F sharp, 9th fret. I have G on the 10th fret. G sharp, 11th fret. And A again on the 12th fret. There we go. Now we're going to the D string. And that's the 4th string. Open D. 1st fret is D sharp. Then I have an E in the 2nd fret. F in the 3rd fret. Then F sharp in the 4th. Then G in the 5th. G sharp in the 6th. A in the 7th. A sharp in the 8th. B in the 9th. C in the 10th. C sharp in the 11th. And then D. Then we go on to the G string. That's the 3rd string. Open G, then 1st fret G sharp, 2nd fret A, 3rd fret A sharp, then B, then C sharp, then D sharp, then E, then F sharp, then G. Then we go to the 2nd string, and that's open B, then it's a C in the 1st fret, C sharp in the 2nd fret, D in the 3rd, D sharp, 4th, E, 5th fret, F sharp in the 7th, G in the 8th, then you have a G sharp in the 9th, A in the 10th, A sharp in the 11th, and then B in the 12th. You have now got all the notes on the guitar. I can't tell you how big that is. I want you to write all those notes down so you know where they are. Because even right now, if you did nothing else, if you take the licks that you play on the guitar, you can go and if I play a certain section of notes right here, you can find those same notes anywhere on the guitar and know where to go. That's so important. That right there is a big freedom. Again, you can pause this tape, go back, and write them down and check. Now, the thing we're going to talk about right now is I want to get into modes, and that scares a lot of guitarists, and it shouldn't. A lot of times when they talk about modes, they'll use the key of C, C major, or which is A minor, which is a popular mode. My favorite key is E, or G major, so we're going to use that, okay? But that also has 1 sharp in it. Now, I want you to write down again on the other sheet of paper where you write the notes, this phrase, I don't play like my awful landlord. Under the I, put Ionian. Under the D, put Dorian. Under the P, put Phrygian. Under the, I don't play like, L, put Lydian. M, put Mixolydian. A, put Aeolian. And L for landlord, Locrian. Look them up to spell, but those are the modes for the different scales. Now the Ionian is the natural major scale. That's the most important scale to learn because all music is based off that scale. So I want to show you right now the G Ionian mode. The notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. And then it goes back to G. Now if we play it over both octaves, it go. Now that's the major scale. Now, all that is you have to find those same notes. The notes of the G major scale is G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So, remember those notes. Now, here's the part where people get tricked. Okay, I got that major scale, but how do I go to another scale? The Dorian is the same exact scale as the Ionian. The only difference is we're starting on the second mode, which is the second note. So instead of starting on this G, I'm going to start on this A. And I'm going to slide the position down. But because